7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. Are you ready? That's the Chicago way.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to another edition of What's Up, Cuz. Tonight's special 1-hour edition here on Sports Zone Chicago. I will be your host, Jason Palmer, joining you today on Monday, November the 6th, 2023, to run down everything that is going on in the Chicago sports world. And boy, do we have a lot going on that I am going to talk about. Just to let you all know, my usual co-host Lance Irvin is out today, as today is the first official day of IHSA basketball practice. So Coach Irvin is with his team, the Kenwood Broncos, out over there on Blackstone Avenue, getting ready for the season. Today is the first day that Lance is able to coach his players as they prep for their season in high school basketball. Just around the corner here, we're going to have some games starting in, I believe, 14 days is the first scheduled games. The girls will play and the boys will be playing. So we are transitioning from fall to winter sports here in the Chicagoland area. So Lance has got some duties he's got to take care of this week, but he'll be with me next week when we return for our normal 2-hour show. But tonight is a special 1-hour edition of What's Up, Cuz. I've got some things I've got to do as well, but boy, oh boy, do I have a lot of stuff to talk to you all about. But first thing to let you all know, later on the show, coming up in about 25 minutes, we got our guy, Eugene McIntosh from the Bigs. He's going to come on because we've got to talk about the breaking news that has got Chicago just up in arms today. The Chicago Cubs fired David Ross and hired from their arch rival, the Milwaukee Brewers, Craig Counsell, in a stunning move. It is the talk of the town right now. So, of course, we're going to talk about that. I can't wait. I cannot wait. Patty, you chimed in just in time. Patty and Armando, you're just in time. I wanted to tell you all happy anniversary. I know your anniversary was October the 31st, so I wanted to send you a special happy anniversary from Lance and myself today. Congratulations on your anniversary, which was last week. I hope you all had a whole lot of fun. Armando, happy anniversary to you, my brother. I know you all are out there as well. So, boy, what's up, Brandon? I know you are tuning in as well. Brandon is sad in Chicago. It is sad in Chicago. Our sports scenes it's just a hot mess right now in Chicago. But, wow, we got a lot to talk about, Brandon. What can I tell you? So at 6:30, we're going to talk to our guy, Eugene, from the Bigs, because he covers the Cubs. And so he was surprised, but he said he wasn't horribly surprised by this news. So he's going to get into the details of the David Ross firing and the hiring of Craig Counsell all at once. The Cubs just ripped the Band-Aid off all at once and threw the alcohol on it and said, look, this is what we're going to do. I am not mad at him. I am not mad at the Cubs. I think that's a very bold move. And if you want to be a franchise and be taken seriously, you got to do stuff like that. High risk, high reward. So congratulations to the Cubs. But I will talk about that coming up at 6:30. We're also going to talk a little bit with Eugene about our Chicago Bulls. The Bulls, I said before, it had a lot of feel of the 2023 White Sox season. It really has a lot of 2023 White Sox season feeling to this Bulls team. And it's because they're both owned by Jerry Reinsdorf, but they're doing very similar stuff. You know, bringing back the same coaching staff, bringing back the same players, saying we're just going to run it back. I don't know about that. I think this is going to go horribly wrong. And yes, I agree. Jerry Reinsdorf should sell the team. Hell, sell both of the teams. Jerry, you got enough money. What you holding on to the teams for, Jerry? The people want another owner anyway. So it ain't good over on Madison. The Bulls are they a hot mess. They a hot ass mess. There's no other way to put it. So gotta talk to you all about the Chicago Bulls. We're gonna talk about them on the show. We're gonna talk about the news that the White Sox have made. We're gonna talk about the news the Cubs have made. Talk a little bit about the Chicago Blackhawks, their season. They're now 4-7-1 on the season, but we understand their situation. So they're actually the team that I've been watching the most because they're the most positive thing we have, even though they're losing. At least I understand why we're losing. And of course, we're going to talk about the Chicago Bears, who fell yesterday to the New Orleans Saints down in New Orleans. Now, it was a loss, but I saw all y'all pictures on social media. Chicago people were kicking it. Lost me down. They were down there in New Orleans having a good time all weekend long. And that's what Chicago people do, Hey, and I'm not mad at them. Yeah, the team ain't good, but, it's always good to be able to travel, relax, enjoy life, and have a good time. And if going to watch the Bears play gives you happiness and satisfaction with the people you love, then by all means, go out there and do it. It doesn't really matter what the final score of the game is. It's that you were spending your time with your family and your friends. And man, I love it. I love that people in Chicago get out there and do a city takeover and just kick in. And there was house music parties in New Orleans, Sean. New Orleans house music parties. Oh my God. I can only imagine what they were doing down there in some of them house music parties, because the drink in New Orleans is a hurricane. If you've never had a hurricane from down there in New Orleans, you want to get one of them. And they had the house music on, and it had to be incredible, Sean.
Oh, I've had a hurricane in New Orleans, and I saw everything. I felt like I was there. Everybody on my timeline was down there. I'm like, oh snap, oh snap! Like I didn't know they were going. Like at least 15 people, different people, and then they met up with people that I didn't think they would meet up with. Man, I heard Bulu Master's party on Friday was redonkulous. Man, he's my favorite DJ. He's my favorite DJ.
Bulu Master?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's my favorite DJ.
Agree with you.
And he gets stupid, man, because he's out there behind the ones and twos, and he's dancing, and then he takes off his shirt. He got his little tank top on, little white beater, got his headband, got his wristbands going so he can wipe his sweat. Dude, he gets into it, man, into it. Oh, I told you how I shouldn't say I shouldn't say fell in love with him, but I got to know him years ago. I'm talking 08, 09, somewhere in there. My buddy has a bar. He's had this club for years. It's called Xavier's on 45th and Western.
Okay.
And he had Bulu Master first Friday of every month for 18 months. I made 17 of those 18 first Fridays. And a girl I was dating at the time, we went to a wedding because he would go on 12 to close, 12 to 2, 12 to 145. So, and she liked house music too. And so when we got the invitation for the wedding, we're like, we're leaving, right? No, she's like, we're leaving, right? I was like, oh, okay, good. I didn't want to bring it up because it's your family, but since you brought it up, hell yeah, we're leaving. So we left there about 11:30, 11:15, 11:30. It was out west. Got there like 5 minutes before he was about to get on. We're all dressed, decked out in our, I had a suit on. She had a little nice dress. And Xavier's is this neighborhood, little local club. It's way overdressed for the spot. And people, a guy I went to high school with, Javier, is Xavier. He owns it. And he was like, too fancy. I'm like, no. I said, dude, we just came from a wedding. I was like, we were not missing Bulu Mess. Then I saw Eric. Bulu. His name's Eric. I saw Eric. I was like, Eric, what's up, man? He goes, what's that one? I was like, we just came from a wedding. I'm like, I wouldn't miss it. So 17 out of those 18 months that he was there, bro, I was there.
Wow.
Wouldn't miss it for the world, dude.
He is worth it. And like you, he is my favorite house music DJ. It's funny. You and I both had that in common. He is absolutely my favorite out of all of them. We got some great ones here in Chicago. Don't get me wrong. But out of all of them, he is absolutely my favorite. So, man, I heard the stories from people. I saw the pictures. My best friend went down there with his wife. He was sending me back, hey, man, you should have came on this trip. I was like, look, man, I'm getting ready to leave town in a couple of weeks. There's only so many trips I can take. I'm on a budget here. But yeah, man, it was incredible from what the pictures saw. And the people went to the game, they had a good time. So that's what it's all about, man. Go out there and have you a real good time. So let's talk a little bit, Sean. Since I got you here, let's talk a couple minutes about the Bears yesterday. Bears fall 24-17. You can't turn the ball over 5 times. I'm sorry. You just cannot do it. Whether it's interceptions, whether it's fumbles, whether people ran the wrong routes, whether it was bad throws, whatever it is, you're not going to beat nobody turn the ball over 5 times. It's a miracle you only lost by 7.
It really is. And you know what? That just goes to show you that how great this defense is playing. This defense has been playing great football. And, for them to lose by 7 and actually still have a chance to tie it or go ahead with a 2-point conversion late in the game speaks volumes. All right, speaks volumes to his defense. Ryan Poles has really addressed the defense, and they were able to keep it close. They were able to keep it close. Tyson Bagent had a tough one, and you know what? I'm happy. And here's the sad part. There's a certain section of this fan base that has really divided this fan base. And they're talking about, well, Tyson. If Tyson has another good game, yesterday was Boomer Esiason. All right. Listen, if you don't watch our Bears on a regular basis, shut the fuck up. All right? Seriously. It bothers me because last week it was who was it last? It was Chris Collinsworth last week.
The Sunday Night Crew, yeah.
This week it's Boomer Esiason. You don't watch our team. You don't watch us. You hear stuff, you go watch clips, but you don't know what the hell's going on. And this agenda that they're trying to push. All right, Tyson Bagent. Oh, we have a quarterback controversy. Or if he plays well, we're going to have a quarterback. No, there never was a quarterback controversy, and there never will be. Okay? Tyson Bagent is a very good backup quarterback. And if him and Justin go forward the next couple of seasons here, that'll be a great quarterback room. But I hate the narrative that the national media, local media too, are saying, oh, Tyson Bagent is this, Tyson Bagent is that. He's our QB1. Tyson is good. He's very good. He's a very good backup. He can win us a game or two. But you know what? You know what was really funny, though, Jay? People talked about, well, he had to deal with some of his teammates not making plays. He had to deal with bad officiating. He had to deal with all. And I'm like, wait a minute. So when Justin can't, that's an excuse for Justin, but it's a reason for him. Right. I'm like, come on, man. You know what? I said, now that more than anything, it shows you that it's not the quarterbacks. It is not the quarterbacks. If they're having the same issues, both of them, it's the coaching. So
I think it is the coach. I think it's the coaching. Now here's why I say there is a quarterback controversy, because I don't think either one of them are going to get you where you want to get to. So I look at it as a controversy in that, right? Do I think Justin Fields has more talent right now than Tyson Bagent? Absolutely. However, I don't know. I cannot say he's going to lead you to the Super Bowl. That is where I stand on it. I would hope that the Bears would do kind of a gangster move like the Cubs did today. However, who is that QB out there that you can gangster and get? You see what I'm saying? Now, I do like what they did, though, to get you a pass rusher, because you needed a pass rusher.
I agree.
And you went out and you got him. So I think that's a positive step.
You mean we acted like a big boy organization, Jason, and went and got what we needed, paid for what we needed?
Exactly. That's exactly what you have to do. Now, the next big boy step, though, Sean, I'm sure you'll agree with me, is you got to find out where the dead weight is and get rid of it as best you can. You got to find who's not pulling their weight.
Cody White
okay,
here.
I need to move you. And I think if you can, do that, then you're showing your fan base, no, we are serious about this. We really are. And that could be doing what the Raiders did this week, where Mark Davis was like, you know what? I screwed this up. I got to get rid of this GM and this coach. And I thought it was very funny. I don't know if you saw the story today, Sean, but he actually went and had a meeting with all his players on the Raiders and apologized to them.
Yep. And
said, I'm sorry for wasting your season because I hired the wrong people. Now, when's the last time you heard an owner do that?
That, and not just that, it's the person he hired as well. So the fact that an owner taking responsibility for that to the players, endears their players, the players. I mean, the Vegas, the LA Raiders. I mean, the Oakland, the Vegas, the Raiders. Where are they from? But anyway, the Raiders have always been the bad boys of, you know what I mean? And people have there's a mystique around them. Players wanted to play for them. Now, if you don't think after what players have heard around the league, if you don't think players are going to want to go play for them now, you know what I mean? That's a dude keeping it real. And Davis, he messed up. He told his players, "I'm sorry, man." And they got a brand new stadium. You know they're going to get a whole bunch of free agents who are interested in playing for them. So
and it's Vegas.
And it's Vegas. And it's Vegas. A lot of stuff can happen in Vegas. Good.
Well, and think about it, Sean. Think about what Vegas has. They have the Stanley Cup champions
and
the Golden Knights, and they have the 2-time WNBA champions now. Okay. And now they got a football team. We're pretty sure in the future they're going to get a basketball team. We know they're getting ready to get a baseball team because they're getting the Oakland A's.
Oaktown 357. Yep.
Right. So we know they're getting Oakland A's. So he understands, yo, man, this getting ready to be a sports metropolis. I got to get my stuff together if I want to be the big dog out here. So I thought that was really cool that he did that. So I want to see the Bears make those type of big boy moves. We'll see if they got it in them. I just got the feeling that they're not going to do nothing with the coaching staff until the end of the season. If
I agree. I think so as well. I think so as well. Reason being is like and the biggest thing for me, Jason, is that Eberflus is the defensive coordinator as well. He's a DC. So you're not just firing a head coach. All right, you're firing a head coach and a play caller. Because if you fire, who needs to be gone more than Eberflus, and Eberflus needs to be gone, is Luke Getsy. So now you're gonna be getting rid of both coordinators. You're really gonna screw up this franchise. And DJ Moore's got to be saying, "What the hell? What in the blue hell am I doing?" It's a shit show, literally, nothing more, nothing less. And they're just not going to do it, Jay. They're just not going to do it. Eberflus has too many. He's too involved with the defense. And if he goes, Getsy has to go. To go.
He has to.
Everybody. I mean, I would say he go first. I wouldn't even mind keeping Eberflus because the way the defense is playing, dude, they're third in the NFL against the run right now. Third. All right. The way that defense is playing, I would say, okay, we'll keep you, but Getsy's got to go. And I'm wondering how soon Kevin Warren steps in. Is like, you goodbye. Give me your key card.
Yeah. Well, and then there was other news earlier in the week. They fired the running backs coach for something that was apparently non-football related. And I'm like, what in the world? So, I mean, there's a lot of mistakes that have been made by this coaching staff, by this general manager. And I'm trying to give Ryan Poles some leeway. This is his first time doing it. The same thing with Eberflus. This is their first time doing it. I didn't like that combination when you did that. You got everybody doing this for the first time. They gonna make mistakes, man. Everybody. Then you got a rookie quarterback who's filling in for Justin Fields. He's gonna make mistakes. You got so much young, and I think I heard the Bears. Are the Bears the youngest team in the NFL, the second or the third, or I know they're near the bottom in terms of in terms of experience.
They're pretty close. Yeah, they're pretty close to being the youngest.
So I mean, a lot of this is just young, stupid stuff that's happening, and you hope it clears up. But
growing pains.
But you do have to have the right schemes, and you do have to be able to hold people accountable and make big boy moves when you need to make them. So I think, trading for Montez, that was a big boy move. That was a big boy move. I was wondering if they were going to go after him or what's the other guy from was it Chase Young? Chase Young. I was like, I could see them going after Chase Young, but after they signed the other guy to the extension, I was like, okay, they're not going to go after Chase Young because they didn't sign their D tackle. No, but Chase Young was
they weren't really in on him anyway due to his medical history. He's just coming off an Montez Sweat is a much better run defender. Two, he's not as explosive as Chase Young is, but he's dependable. 67 games, 67 starts. All right. So Chase Young hasn't played a full season. And if you're going to give somebody big money, you need them to be on the field. And this guy is going to be fundamentally sound for you. All right,
Yes.
he's better than than a fundamentally sound guy. He's going to give you some big plays. He had 4 pressures. He had the quarterback hit where he knocked the ball loose. Then he also had 2
Mm-hmm.
tackles one of them where he chased down Taysom Hill. I still would have liked more from him. I said that earlier on my show, but
Mm-hmm.
you know what? I'm not going to crucify him over his first game, but yeah, he's going to make a difference. And you're right. There's no better way to say it than you did, Jay. And it's a big boy move. And
Yeah.
also, I don't hear anybody talking because they were like, people were talking, oh, they're not going to sign him. He's going to walk. He's a rental. Poles needs to be fired. How are you going to sign a guy with a trade for a guy with an expiring contract? You're not going to get him signed. You're not going to get him signed. And before the game, he got him signed. So it's
Yeah,
like
he did.
people just shut the hell up. There's too many negative Nancy's going around. It's bothersome.
Mm-hmm. Well, he got him signed, and he reminds me of who he has the potential of. To me, he reminds me a lot of Julius Peppers. Just his physical makeup, because he's so tall, first of all, and he's got this very long wingspan, like Peppers had back in the day. He just reminds me physically of Peppers. Now he doesn't have that skill set just yet.
No, definitely not.
But just his physical presence, when I look at it, I'm like, yeah, he's like 6'7", he got that long wingspan, he can reach out and grab people. So, if he's half as good as Peppers, then you got a victory there. But, let's see what he does, for just being there 3 days and, having to move. I thought it was very interesting. He's renting the place Chase Claypool had.
Yep.
When he was here. So I think a lot of people don't think about that stuff when these guys are traded. You got to uproot your whole family. You got to find a place to live. You don't even have a driver's license yet to stay. I mean, it's a lot of stuff that happens when you get traded like that in the middle of the season. So, hopefully, they got a game this Thursday, right? We're playing
Thursday.
Panthers against on Thursday. So he's going to have no time to get his life settled here in Chicago before he has to get right back to work. But, give him next week. He'll be a little bit more settled, get some things taken care of, and we'll see what he does. But, I think.
And don't forget, he'll have 10 days afterwards. So you know what I mean?
Yeah,
so he'll have,
exactly.
after Thursday, he'll have Friday, Saturday, Sunday, maybe show up on Monday, but then they're off Tuesday. So he's got quite a few days. He's already found out where he's going to live. So he's got that taken care of. So anything else, he's got some time. He'll have 10 days to kind of settle in. Because again, people forget there's a human element to it, to a trade. And, because you don't get a chance to pack. You got to grab a couple of things and I got to go. I got to hop on a plane now. So he'll be, once he gets settled, I'm going to expect a lot more from him. After Thursday's game, the next game, I'm going to expect a lot more from him.
Yep, and you should. But yeah, I'm sure all professional athletes, they gotta have a bug out bag. You gotta have your bug out bag ready, people, because you're gonna have to bug out at any given time. So good job. All right, thanks, Sean. All right, now I'm gonna talk a little bit before my guest comes on in about 7 minutes. I'm gonna have Eugene McIntosh come on and talk about the big Cubs deal today. White Sox news first. Let me get to White Sox news. I wasn't surprised about this move, and I understand it. The Chicago White Sox decided to let Tim Anderson walk. So Tim Anderson will head to free agency. They declined to pick up the option that he had on a contract. His days with the White Sox, at least, appear to be over. It seems that because he had such a poor season this past season, his trade value was pretty much nothing. But as I've said many times on the show this last year, my beef with Tim Anderson wasn't his on-field stuff. If he had a slump, if he was just having a slump, I was cool with it. But he got a lot of off-the-field stuff going on. And some of it became public. And I talked about what became public. I didn't talk about what hasn't become public. I left that alone. But the young man got a lot of stuff. He got to get his personal life together, man, or he's getting ready to ruin his career. And I don't want to see him do that because he's such a talented brother. Here's the thing. Baseball is a very difficult sport. You don't get to the level that he got to, and then the very next year just fall off a cliff. It don't work like that, man. There's something that he's got going on in his personal life. And I compare again, when Frank Thomas had the worst season of his career, it was the year he was going through his divorce. And he came out and said it later that was what was really bothering him. Tim has got some stuff going on in his personal life. in his marriage and other places that he's got to fix. And personally, I'm hoping that a new change of scenery in a different city will allow him to fix the stuff that's going on in his personal life. He's got to make the commitment to do it, but I think, we keep forgetting he a kid from Mobile, Alabama, man. He from Mobile, Alabama. Then you come up to Chicago, this is a whole different animal, man. He ain't never seen nothing like this. And then you are now the face of the organization on the south side of Chicago. I can't tell you how important he was to the African American community here on the south side of Chicago, or how disappointed we were to hear some of the stuff that was coming out. So, Tim's got to really just buckle down and say, you know what, I'm a baseball player. Let me focus on baseball. Let me focus on my family and just really get focused. And hopefully a change of scenery will allow him to do that. Now, I don't know how much money he's going to make in free agency. We'll see what the market demand is for him. He immediately goes to kind of the top of the list of people who are available. But I mean, this thing with Tim has been degrading for the last 2 years, man. It's him making a comment on how he hates it here, and we all saw it. We all saw that comment. We all read his list. We all knew what he was saying. It's him giving the middle finger to the fans in Cleveland. It's him. It's just doing stuff that's just not professional, man. That stuff catch up with you. You can't be doing that stuff, man. And when you do that stuff, he turned the fan base against him. And I know there were people who were going in on him because he's a black man. I'm not naive about that. But he also brought a lot of this upon himself as well. And then his play just, your play, if you got excellent play, it'll cover up a lot of your warts. But he wasn't getting it done on the field. Once you're not getting it done on the field, man, then everybody's coming for you. They're going to criticize you for everything you do at that point. So Tim Anderson is in free agency. Have no idea who the hell the White Sox are going to put at shortstop in the spring. We'll see if they're bringing up somebody from the minor leagues, if they're doing a trade. I have no idea. But Chris Getz has, exercised that option. This also, along with Daryl Boston, is not going to be the first base coach. Also, Yasmani Grandal, he will be gone next season. The White Sox, they have some catchers in the farm system, so we'll see what happens with that. But, I mean, it's just a mess right now on the South Side, and it's not fun to be a White Sox fan right now. You have no idea what this organization is doing, and we can't get answers because they canceled Sox Fest. So it's not looking good right now on the South Side, and we have no answers for you. We'll just try to follow them as best we can because I have no idea what the heck the White Sox are going to do as an organization. But it is what it is. We'll just kind of watch them as best we can. Special note, has nothing to do with sports, but I try to look out for my people and people look out for me. And Sean informed me a couple of weeks ago about one of our good friends who was facing a medical challenge, and he is out of the hospital now. He is doing a lot better. I talked to him today. So get well soon to my guy, Berto. Berto, you scared the hell out of me, bro. You really scared the hell out of me. And I told you I'm going to kick your ass when I see you. Because I told you take better care of yourself. So you still got something coming, but right now you healing. But in true Berto style, he decided to post on Facebook him wearing this shirt. And I'll let you all read it for yourself. And any of you who know Berto, and you looked at it, you say, yeah, that sounds like something he'd say to us after he survived us.
That is exactly a Berto saying. Exactly a Berto saying. So, yeah. If you know Berto, you know that shirt is apropos. Let me tell you. There could be no more perfect shirt for that situation and for what he went through. So, yeah, really I text him every day too as well, just to check on him, see how he's doing. And you know what, we're still glad. They're glad that he's still here, and the quick action of the people there, really saved his life. So we're happy.
So he decided to dance with the devil And the devil let him go. I don't know how he lived, but he danced with the devil and survived. So congratulations on that, Berto. I'm sure you got great stories, and we're just glad that you are around. So continue to rehab. All right, it is 6:30. It is time for our guest. Because man, we got to talk about this. I was surprised by this news today when I found out about it. I didn't see this one coming. And just like the Bears made a big boy move earlier in the week, so did the Chicago Cubs. And I did not see it happen. I think what was so shocking about it is that it was a 2-for-1 deal. It wasn't like one part of the news. It was like, boom, boom. We fired David Ross. Boom. And we hired Craig Counsell. Boom. I was like, oh, they hitting him with the 1-2. Okay, Jed Hoyer, I hear you. It's a big boy move. It doesn't mean that it's going to work out. However, like I say, risk, reward. The Cubs are taking the risk. They want to see the reward. And joining us to talk about it is our guy from the Bigs because he covers the Cubs. Eugene McIntosh. Gino, what's up, man? How you doing?
Jason, what's good, my brother? Glad to see you, man. Everything is well this way. I'm at the United Center. The Bulls are taking on the Utah Jazz tonight. We all know what to expect here, but we're not talking about the Bulls. We are talking about the Cubs and the huge move today, man. So let's get to it.
Yeah, let's talk about the Cubs. So when I texted you earlier, when I found out the news, I said, Eugene, are you shocked by this? And your reply was, I can see it. I'm still surprised, but I can see it. Tell me what you thought of the move.
I'm not going to act like I wasn't surprised. I'm pretty sure 100% of whoever heard the news and is part of Cubs Nation, or if you're not a part of Cubs Nation, when they heard the news, I'm pretty sure everyone was surprised. But when you think about Craig Counsell, and a lot of the thought was that once his contract was up in Milwaukee, he has 2 college kids, 2 high school kids. Maybe he wanted to spend some time with his kids, but there were rumors about him becoming the New York Mets manager, because we all know the same guy that hired him in Milwaukee is now in New York. So there was rumblings of that. But, Jed Hoyer, man, put on his big boy pants and made the big move. I remember earlier this season when Milwaukee was in Chicago, we talked to Craig a little bit. Craig is really guarded, a really personal person, so he doesn't really let a lot out. We talked to him. Jesse Rogers from ESPN was kind of poking fun at him. They got a good relationship, and Jesse was basically like, "Man, what you thinking about? What's your next spot?" And Craig didn't give anything, but what I do know is that Jed Hoyer and the people in charge over here do know Craig Counsell's agent. So I'm pretty sure they had some contact with the agent. I'm pretty sure they probably paid him a few more dollars than anyone else was going to pay him, now that he's going to be the highest paid manager in baseball. And I think on top of all of that, what a lot of people don't understand, it's about the team, and it's about being able to be a part of a winning culture, but most important is family. And when you think about the location, he now comes to Chicago. Maybe his kids and the family can still live in Milwaukee. His kids can still go to the same high school, and he's only 90 miles away from home. So I think it's a really big move by Jed Hoyer, a really ballsy move. I don't think anyone else around town has those type of balls to pull something like that off. And I'm a huge fan of Craig Counsell. I was a huge fan of him as a player, and especially as a manager. I think he got the most out of those decent at best Milwaukee Brewers squad. We all know about their starting rotation and how loaded they were. But as far as the other side, the offense, those teams were decent at best. And I think he maxed out his talent. So it's great to see Jed Hoyer pull that. And I'm interested to see what these guys can do moving forward.
David Ross, do you think he saw this coming?
I do not think Ross saw it coming. I'm a huge Ross guy, as you know. What a lot of people don't. Okay, sure, Ross had some questionable decisions as far as his lineups and some of the decisions he made down the stretch. I'm pretty sure The couple times they were in the playoffs, yeah, he made some bad moves. Did that actually cost them the playoff losses? Who knows? That's not for me to judge. I'm a huge Ross guy. I think he's a really good manager. I do think he'll find somewhere else if he wants to continue managing. But more than anything, I think he was a huge locker room guy. I think the guys love playing for him. And, his aura, he didn't take any BS either. A lot of people think, we call him Rossi and, they call him Grandpa Rossi. And, a lot of us, we're cool with Rossi because of the relationship we had with him as a player. But he was no nonsense, man. When he needed to turn up on those guys, he did. You can ask any of them. He showed no favoritism. Yeah, he showed some loyalty to, some of the older players and some of those guys. But at the end of the day, I think Ross did a really good job in his tenure. I think it was 4 years. But I definitely think he did not see this coming. I don't think anyone saw it coming. But give kudos to Jed Hoyer and the Cubs brass. I heard that they did meet up with him face-to-face to give him the news that he didn't have to hear about it over Twitter or from a phone call. So that was huge for them.
So let me ask you this. I think of this when I look at this, and I was like, man, this is like, could this be a Ricky Renteria move?
100%. Same thing happened when Joe Madden became available. The next few minutes, Joe Madden has now replaced Rick Renteria as the Cubs manager. Same situation here with Rossi and Craig Counsell. And for me personally, man, I think Jed Hoyer is really trying to silence the critics, silence the Theo critics. And we all heard Tom Ricketts say that, it's not on him anymore. He said he's giving Jed Hoyer every opportunity. His checkbook is wide open for Jed to go and spend the money and make the moves. And I think they did a pretty good job this year. Do I think they missed out on a playoff spot? I do think so. The fact that Arizona made it and the Cubs had a 3-game lead with like 12 games to go and couldn't finish the job. Yeah, Ross has to take some of the blame for that. I feel like, a lot of people were down on him, not giving Dansby Swanson some rest, and a lot of other guys are running on fumes. But, at the end of the day, the players play the game. And I think Ross got the bad end of the stick. But it's a cold world, man. It's a cold world. And Jed Hoyer's got to do what Jed Hoyer's got to do. And I applaud him for the big boy move.
So let me ask you this. White Sox did the same thing, also with Ricky Renteria, ironically. However, we brought in Tony La Russa, which everybody thought at the time was a terrible move, and it proved to be. And I think that is what killed what was this core of the White Sox. I think those guys really enjoyed playing for Ricky Renteria, and when the Sox ownership did what they did, it turned them guys off completely.
I agree.
Baseball, as you know, just like I do, because this is a sport we played the most, it's about chemistry. It's about keeping the morale high because it's a long season. You got to be with these people on the road for 8 months straight and all this. Let me ask you this. Is there the only drawback of this, are there going to be Cubs players who are really loyal to Rossi, who really enjoy playing to Rossi, who may not like this move? And is this possibly the reason why Bellinger declined his option?
Hey, that's up in the air. That's a very good question. I don't think so, just because I think Craig Counsell is a well-respected. Let me stop this call for a second. Mm-hmm. I think Craig Counsell is he's well-respected around the league. I'm pretty sure he has a different managerial philosophy than Ross, but I'll be interested to see what type of relationship he has with the front office, because, a lot of those guys, I pretty much knew that David Ross was not going to be the guy that would be here when it was time to win. So, like we said, Craig Counsell, he reached the NLCS twice. I think they won it all once, not the World Series, but they won the pennant once. And I think he made the playoffs 5 of his 9 seasons in Milwaukee. So his track record is there. I do think having veteran guys like Dansby Swanson and now bringing back Jan Gomes, and now that Nico Horner's a Gold Glove winner, Ian Happ, I feel like those are the type of guys that Jed Hoyer knows would be on the side of Craig Counsell, that can take some criticism, that can take, some harshness, because like I said, Craig is as a person, he's guarded. As a coach, as a manager, he's no nonsense as well. Ross, I think it was the Chicago in him that allowed the freedom, I think. You know how it is in those clubhouses, man. You kind of want to let the players kind of police the clubhouse themselves. Mm-hmm. And, I think, like I said, the Milwaukee Brewers, I think Counsell did that a lot with those guys. He had some veteran guys like Christian Yelich and a few other guys around there that I'm pretty sure he let police the clubhouse. But when things were out of hand, those guys stepped up. So now that, the Cubs tasted a little bit of success and they know that they have those pieces in place, when you talk about Nico and Dansby and Happer and Suzuki signed for the next few years, I think it's a perfect fit, to be honest with you. But I do not think that the Cody Bellinger situation, I don't think any of that has to do with him. You already know he's a Scott Boras guy. Scott Boras is going to demand top dollar for his guy. And probably the San Francisco Giants or the New York Yankees, one of those two guys, they're going to jump off the porch and they're going to give Scott Boras and Cody Bellinger whatever he's looking for. I'm thinking mid to upper 200s. Don't be surprised if he can get 300 out of those people, man.
Yeah, I never doubt Scott Boras, man. Never doubt him. Let me ask you this. Marcus Stroman, not going to be back with the Cubs as well. I think the Cubs need more pitching. I think we could all agree with that. Hell, you can never have enough pitching in baseball, let's be honest. But Stroh, I know Stroh is one of your guys too. Stroh not coming back. Talk to me a little bit about him not coming back, and where do you see the Cubs going to strengthen up that pitching staff?
That's a great question, man. Stroh is definitely one of my guys. Another guy who was kind of guarded. He spoke freely. What I do know about Stroh and the Cubs situation was, coming from Toronto and coming from New York, I feel like he was a little more comfortable here because Jed Hoyer and the Cubs, they kind of just let Stroh do him. There weren't too many restrictions. And as long as he performed well, there wasn't too much you could say. So I think that's what kind of led to Stroh being able to be one of the best pitchers in that first half of the season this year. The freedom and the ability to just do him. He got a bad rep coming from those other squads. If you talk to people around the league, they say he was a bad teammate, a bad locker room guy. If you ask any guy in that Cubs clubhouse, they would tell you the total opposite. He treated the media with a lot of respect. He always talked about how much he loved playing at Wrigley, how much he loved the fan base. But at the end of the day, man, he thinks there's something better out there for him, and I'm not mad at him, declining that the last option and going to look for more years down the line. I'm pretty sure he'll get it somewhere. But like you said, you can never have enough pitching, and I do think the Cubs, there are a couple options out there. I'm gonna keep my mouth shut. We'll talk again next time you bring me on, Jay. I'll open up a little bit more. But I do think the Japanese guy, I can't think of his name right now. I do think he's the top priority right now for them. And there are a couple other guys on the Cubs list. But also, be on the lookout for the name that I'm hearing the most is Matt Chapman over there at third base. So don't be surprised. Yeah, don't be surprised if you hear one of the first signees for the 24th season being Matt Chapman over there at third base.
That would definitely be very, very interesting. Even though it's not your beat, still in your city, you still have some knowledge about it. Your thoughts on the White Sox telling Tim Anderson, hey, man, go ahead and see what you can get out there on the market?
I think it was a bad move. But I also think it's a good move. And I'm going to be honest with you, Jay. Tim didn't want to be here. Terrence, T. Tomlin has a good relationship with Tim. And, Tim told him, whatever. We can spill it now. Tim didn't want to be here. He said, his time was up here. And the White Sox knew it. So it was like, yeah, man, go ahead, test the waters. You'll probably be better off elsewhere. And there's a few teams out there that need a shortstop. So I'm pretty sure Tim won't have he won't be out there long. There are a lot of teams probably knocking at his door right now, and he just had a bad season this year, man. He had a lot of stuff going on personally, as we all know, and I think as a whole, the White Sox missing that little window. I think all of that played into his down season. He wasn't the only one with a down season, and I think change of scenery is good for some people, and I think it will be for Tim as well. It's sad to see that he couldn't become the face of baseball as a black guy on the south side of Chicago, but hopefully all is well. Tim is a cool dude, always treated me well, never turned us down when we needed anything from him. So I'm interested to see who's going to pick his services up in the future. But the White Sox, they're going to waste Luis Roberts' prime years, and it's all bad. It's just all bad around Chicago sports in general right now.
It is, and it's very heartbreaking. Sean, I was talking about that earlier on my show, and I said what I said about Tim. I'm sad to see him go, but I'm happy. As a black man, I'm happy to see him at least have the option to take his services elsewhere. I also think because Tim came from a small town, Mobile, Alabama, coming to Chicago, it's a different animal, man. And, he got up here. He's had some personal challenges that became public with his marriage and all that. And I'm like, man, once it start getting there, you kind of almost need somewhere else to kind of do a reset. So I wish him and Bria, who is an absolute sweetheart. I've met his wife a couple of times, and his daughters. They are a beautiful family. And I really, more than anything, Gene, I really hope that family stays together and that they can work out through the tough things in marriage. So best of luck through Tim on that one. I got you there at the United States. I got to ask you. I got to, Gene. I wouldn't be doing my job as a journalist. Sean and Maya would fire me if I didn't ask you here. You got tip off in a few minutes. We know what to expect. And I'm not going to put this all on Zach. We beat Zach up to death. So
no, it's not all on Zach. No, it's not.
What's going on with this team, man? What is going on with this team?
I thought about piecing something up. I thought about putting some pen to some paper, but I said, you know what? Nah, I'm gonna just let it all hang out, through video. So I'm gonna go. We got something brewing in the next couple of days, so I'll speak upon it fully there. But to me, man, it's just an organizational failure. To be honest with you, man, it starts at the top. I think. Karnisovas and Eversley, they need to be held accountable for putting this thing together and trying to run it back like this was some sort of success, making a play-in game last year. Like, that's the standard we set to make a play-in game? No. And then, of course, it's not all Zach LaVine's fault. I think at the end of the day, you got your big three, your main three guys with three different agendas. You got Vooch, who I don't think had a better option than returning to Chicago in free agency. You got DeMar DeRozan, who I love. He's a great guy, but he's looking for his last big contract before his career is over. And Zach LaVine is who he is. I don't think Zach LaVine really wants to be here. I love Billy Donovan. I think he's a really good coach. He's a really good guy, but he's not getting the most out of his guys. I don't know if the locker room is divided. I don't know if they're really picking up what he's trying to get across. I don't think he has the personnel to play the way that he wants to play. And again, that goes back to the top of the board, to the chick food chain, and that's Karnisovas and Eversley. And I think those guys need to be held accountable as well. When you think about Patrick Williams, your lottery pick, looking like a deer in headlights. When you think about your starting point guard, Kobe White, who probably needs to be your main scoring option off the bench. And then you talk about your two main free agent signings over the summer, and Torrey Craig and Javon Carter, who are role players, who are bench players. So what was that supposed to do for a team looking to make a run? It's like Arturas Karnisovas said in the media day press conference, our goal is to make the playoffs. What? What? That's the standard around here now, to make the playoffs? Man, do you see them 6 banners hanging up there? Do you see the only reason these people are coming to this stadium every night is because of those 6 banners? And Mike and Scotty and them ain't walking through these doors no time soon, bro.
I agree. And I agree. It goes straight to the top, which is why I keep, it don't matter if it's baseball or it's basketball team. It's the same organization.
Yep.
And you see so many similarities. Just like you ready to put pen to paper, I'm really ready to just do an in-depth piece to just show the similarities between the Bulls and the White Sox in terms of how it's run from the top bottom. Because I think if people can literally see it, if you put the puzzle together for them, then you'll see why the Bulls are not going to be successful because they're following the same blueprint as the White Sox. It really is the same. It's just a different sport, but we'll get more into that later. But hey, man, I know you got to get ready to cover the Bulls. I appreciate you for tuning in, and I know this is a rough job for you being at the United Center, but maybe you can hang there for a couple more days, and you'll get to see this guy, Eugene, because Connor Bedard is that dude.
Man, I can't wait, man. I've heard a lot. Obviously I see a lot of the press. I haven't gotten a chance to see him yet. I haven't really gotten a chance to watch the Blackhawks, but I'm interested, man. They're putting a lot of pressure on this young guy, and I think he's ready for the challenge. So something's got to give around Chicago. The Cubs are pushing up in the right direction, but other than that, Chicago sports are doomed at this moment. So Connor Bedard, if you're watching, and I know you are, come on, brother. We need some help around the shot, man. It is not looking good. And for us to be the 3rd largest market in sports, this ain't it. This ain't it, man. And we got to keep it real. We got to keep it 100 about our teams. And, man, I appreciate you always keeping it a buck. I know I know you give the Cubs a hard time, but you've been around for just as long as I have, man. And we've seen these teams. We've seen them reach the pinnacle. We saw what Chicago sports was like when everybody was at their peak. And it's no short stopping now. So we need to get back to glory, man.
I agree. Thank you, everybody. Follow Eugene in the Bigs Media. Follow them online on Twitter. Follow them, man. They got some real good stuff, man. And I keep telling every time Eugene come on show, I tell people, man, you got to get news from different voices and different people, man. And Eugene and I have a similar style. And when we talk to athletes, we interview them differently. They're going to tell us stuff that they ain't going to tell a lot of these other media outlets because they're just comfortable in talking to us because we come from the same place many of them come from. So,
100%.
Tune in to all sorts of different type of media outlets and definitely check out the Bigs Media. Thanks a lot, man. Have a good one.
No doubt, brother, man. Y'all have a good one, man. To tell Sean and Maya, I said, what's up? One love.
Will do. Peace out.
Yep.
All right, that was Eugene McIntosh, everybody from the Bigs, joining us to talk a little bit about the Cubs' big move today. He also chimed in a little bit of White Sox, a little bit of Bulls. It's just like Sean, Sean not trying to get similar guests, people who can talk about multiple topics. It really helps us, especially as a smaller media market, smaller media outlet. When we get people who can talk about a whole bunch of different things, it's a really, really good thing. One thing I did want to mention about Craig Counsell, they did announce the terms of his contract, and he making some money. He's getting 5 years, $40 million. He's got the richest contract ever given to a Major League Baseball manager. Our good buddy Ozzie Guillen Jr. has got some questions about that contract that he's been talking about, seeing that Counsell has never been to a World Series or won a World Series. He's like, man, you paying that dude a whole lot of money. And you got Bruce Bochy, who now just won the World Series again. And he's not making that type of money down there with the Texas Rangers. And Grandpa Bruce, man, he kept it real. He's like, I ain't coming back just for no nonsense. And there he is. There's Bruce with a World Series trophy. And Sean is getting ready to have another conniption because he told the White Sox to at least call the man. At least send him a text message, White Sox. Jesus Christ, you can't.
He was available 1 year ago today, Jason. He was available.
A text message. That's all I want, Sean.
Something. A messenger. Tweet him. Send him a tweet. Something. But hey, you know what? Let's have a three-time World Series manager available to us and not interview him. That's a great way. So what that really tells you, you ain't trying to win.
You ain't trying to
You
win.
ain't trying to win. The Cubs, they're trying to win.
Yep.
This manager has never been to a World Series. Doesn't have a World Series title if he's never been there, and they made him the highest paid manager. Why? Because they believe in him. Because he's been successful in places he's been at in Milwaukee, and they're like, okay, we want you. We think you're a good fit. We ain't gonna mess. We're gonna haggle on money. Money gets in the way of a good time. All right, money can get in the way of a good time. What do you want? You want this? Bang, it's done. Unfortunately, the Cubs are acting like a big boy organization.
Yeah, it is. And, I keep telling everybody, White Sox and Bulls ain't going to get no better until Jerry Reinsdorf is no longer in charge. I'm sorry.
Bingo.
And, I love him, but he got to go. And he ain't trying to go nowhere. So, I'm keeping my money in my pocket, Sean. You went to like a few, how many games you go to this year?
I think 3. I went to opening
I
day.
went to one.
And the last game I went to was the $1 one.
It was the $1 one.
Yeah.
And how many games do you usually go to a year? How many White Sox games you usually go to a year?
Between 10 and 15.
Yeah. We're about on the same on that.
Yeah.
And the fact that we only went to, if that don't ring true, I don't know what to tell them. I really don't. So I'll just ask you this. When was the last time you've been to a Bulls game?
2 years ago. 2 years ago, or was it last year? 2 years ago with Maya for her birthday.
Okay. And see, so now for me, it's a trick question because I went to a game last year, but it was in Milwaukee.
Aha, you sneaky snake.
So I didn't go because I'm like, I'm not giving Jerry Reinsdorf my damn money with this team. This team is terrible. Guess what? I'm going to go this year. I'm going again in Milwaukee. And when they come to play the Bucks, I was like, okay, I'm going to watch them in Milwaukee. I'm just not giving Jerry Reinsdorf no money. I cannot do it, man. It's just off of GP. I just can't do it off of GP, man.
February 6th, 2022. That was the last time I went.
That was your last one? See?
It was Maya's birthday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And guess what? Now, if you try to take Maya to a Bulls game for her birthday, she'll be like, you out of your mind? Why you want to take me to see that?
It's like, why you hate me?
Right. You know what? She'll probably be like, let's go to a Blackhawks game. Maya, if you want to go to a Blackhawks game, let's go.
Hell yeah. She'll definitely go to a Blackhawks game before she goes to a Bulls game.
Yeah. I'm going to throw that out there. Maya, let's go to the Blackhawks game this year for your birthday. The hell with the Bulls. They still got Zach. So, Armando being a smart aleck. I didn't go to any White Sox games this season. Ha, ha, ha. Mr. Cubs fan. I get it. Y'all can go in on us. I'm a big boy. I can take it. I'm ripping my own organization team. So, I get it, man. Y'all go in on them as bad as you want to. All right. Final piece of news here. It took place last week. One of the greatest coaches, one of the greatest college basketball coaches in the history of the game, Bobby Knight, who became famous at Indiana University, passed away at the age of 83. Bob Knight, controversial figure. Some of the stuff he did and some of the stuff he said back in his day, if he did it in 2023, the man would probably be in prison because society has definitely changed. That said, he was a great basketball coach. He was a great motivator, even if that motivation came through pure terror and fear. He got the most out of his players. I remember when Lance and I had AJ Guyton on this show a little bit, like maybe about a year ago. And one of the things that AJ said that really struck me was he's like, everyone thought that Bobby was this big X and O's guy because of his personality. And while he did know some X and O's, he said for the most part, he kind of let us do our thing. He had a system, but he kind of wasn't really tripping on that. But he didn't want you to do dumb stuff. He didn't want you to do selfish stuff. He wanted you to do stuff for the team. He said he wasn't really a big X and O's guy, but he was definitely a motivator. He was definitely a disciplinarian. He also taught at Indiana University, which I think a lot of people don't realize. I believe he was a phys ed teacher, if I'm not mistaken. Just a straight old school guy, man, a phys ed teacher, worked at the university and beloved by that university. And, when he was removed from his position by Miles Brent back in the day. It was almost a mutiny on their campus. He then went to Texas Tech University, had a little bit of success, got the team into the tournament, but nothing like he had at Indiana. Got national championships with Isaiah Thomas. Calvin Chaney, was Calvin Chaney on one of the championships? I think Calvin Chaney may have been on one of them. I'm not 100% positive on that. But Bobby, you know, he motivated a lot of people. He motivated a lot of people.
Keith Smart was the guy.
Keith Smart.
Keith Smart, Isaiah Thomas in 82, and then Quinn Buckner in 76.
Right. So, but Bobby, you know, he got the most out of his players. He was very well respected. But you know, when people die trying to look at their whole life, the guy was not perfect. He said some really stupid things. The Connie Chung interview being one of them, some of the stuff he said in that. But I try to look at the person's whole life because we all have different chapters in our lives. There are times when we made mistakes, and times when we've done really great things, and there are times we've just been kind of like an average citizen. So, you know, I try to look at a person's whole life when they pass away. But Bobby Knight passed away at the age of 83. So, all right, that is going to wrap it for this special edition of What's Up Cuz. Remember, the Bears play this coming Thursday. They are on Amazon Prime. If you don't have Amazon Prime, just go to the bar because it's going to be on at the bar. Might as well go and have a good time. The Bears are playing the Carolina Panthers, who are absolutely horrendous. I'm expecting the Bears to win, and I don't care who the quarterback is. The Bears should beat the living daylights out of the Carolina Panthers. The game is at home, too. It's a home game, right? Yeah, they're at home. So they got to beat the Panthers. The Panthers are terrible. We done already stole their best wide receiver. You know, we probably going to fleece them again for another first-round draft pick, as stupid as they are. Either that or Brian Burns. We'll take him, too. So you're playing the Carolina Panthers. You got to beat them there. You have to beat them. It's a Thursday night game. The whole nation will be watching. You'll be the only thing on TV. All the people who went to New Orleans, they'll be back home. They will have sobered up by now after partying down there. So everyone have a really, really good night. Have a really good week. Again, I say this again, and I don't say it lightly. There is a lot of stuff going on in this world. A ton of stuff going on in this world. So when we talk about sports, it is like a relief valve for a lot of people. It really, really is. And I understand that. That's why I try to have fun with this stuff. Even though we talk some serious stuff, I do try to have fun with this as well. Just really try to get out there. Look out for one another. Look out for humanity. Look out for each other. Be safe out there with all this stuff going on in the world. And before I leave, just a real quick congratulations to the Chicago Sky, who hired Taretha Witherspoon as their new head coach. So congratulations to Coach T. Spoon. Welcome to Chicago. I really hope she can move the Sky back up. They did make the playoffs this year, but we, like Eugene was saying, we need more than that here in Chicago. Our expectations are a lot higher. I am Jason Palmer. I'm getting ready to go celebrate my anniversary with my wife, the love of my life. Thank you, CC, for marrying me 7 years ago. Let's go out, girl, and have some party and drink like we went to New Orleans like everybody else. So we about to go kick it. Thank y'all for tuning in. I am Jason Palmer. I will see you next week. Back with my cousin Lance Irvin. We are out. Peace.
Lift every voice and sing till earth and heaven ring with the harmonies of liberty. Let our rejoicing high as the listening skies. Let it resound loud as the rolling sea. Sing a song full of the faith that the dark past has taught us. Sing a the hope that the present has brought us. Facing the rising sun of a new day begun, we will march on to victory. We will march on to victory. Let us march on to victory.